Hey, what's going on, gang? So I got some more Yankees news. I mean, it's not the sexiest of signings or moves, but it's a move by the Yankees. They've claimed Yohan Ibar from the Rockies. He's a left-handed pitcher, a 24-year-old who's relatively new to pitching. They claimed him off of waivers, and looks like he has about a 5.06 ERA over about 131 innings of scattered work around the minor league. So it's not sexy. He's got a 14.62 walk rate in that span as well, but Matt Blake must have seen something that he can probably work with, and he has a tendency to do these things. So I would keep an eye on him, and apparently he's got a relatively solid, a big arm, so and they like to do things with big arms. So, but I don't think this is the final move the Yankees are going to make, so obviously make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, so that you know exactly when the Yankees make another move. They clearly, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of folks, need to bring in more starting pitching. There's a big hole there at the number 2 spot that needs to be addressed. And so I expect them to do something in a trade. Obviously, there's nothing really available right now in free agency anymore that'll represent an upgrade. So trade route's going to be what they're going to have to do. And just some observations with this and some of the moves that the Yankees have made. You know, one of the things that, you know, I think we can all acknowledge that the Yankees have signed some people to some terrible contracts over the last, I don't know, decade plus. Jacoby Ellsbury, Carl Pavano, and some other ones too. But most apparently those two, most obvious those two. But it's you know, at some point it becomes so onerous that the neglect that they had towards the farm became very obvious too. So what they've done recently is they've, you know, spent a lot more resources and a lot more time drafting guys. And they've done a hell of a lot better job over the past several years drafting players. That's why they have so many, you know, like a pipeline of shortstops now, building a pipeline of outfielders as well. And you know, to a lesser degree, which is where I say they need to build, is a catching pipeline too. So they're some of the most tradable assets and valuable assets on a team too. But, you know, and I've said this before too, I think there's got to be a healthy balance between young prospects, good role players, and superstars for the teams to be really, really really successful. And that's generally the way it is across the board in Major League Baseball. But Yankees haven't been that way in a little while. So this is one reason, I think, why they're transitioning so aggressively into the prospects that they've drafted and developed over the last couple of years and have not spent a ton in free agency. That's why they're bringing in more role players, because I think with the superstars they have, they're trying to balance that out with some more, you know, guys that they've acquired in Minnesota and some other guys, you know, Anthony Rizzo's of the world, and trying to infuse some of these young guys too, because what they do have a lot of money coming off the books in the next 3 or 4 years, which will put them in a position to spend when somebody big comes. And there's some guys that are going to be available in the next couple of years. So that's just my take on it. You know, I think they can't be done this offseason. I've said that. I've given them an incomplete. They can't be. So starting pitching is an absolute must. And I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in, you know, they did bring in Marwin Gonzalez yesterday in a minor league deal, but that's not a flashy move. But again, this is another thing that the Yankees do, right? They bring in a lot of these guys on minor league deals, a lot of these role players who are here, who are there, and, you know, sometimes they work out temporarily, and then they're gone after a bit, which is, I think, one reason why the Yankees bring in so many of them on minor league deals, because I know that there is just like a temporary Band-Aid on something, particularly if there's injury issues or whatever it might be. But so, you know, this is kind of where my stance on the Yankees right now, and let me know what you think of that, because I think it's pretty apparent that's what they're doing right now, and obviously transitioning more into prospects, to the frustration of many fans, including myself, particularly on the pitching side, hoping that these guys work out, you know, or at least some of them. And I do think some of them. They have a lot of prospects. I mean, like 5 or 6 high-end shortstop prospects. But the good thing about that is a lot of these guys are versatile. They can play multiple positions, so it doesn't jam up shortstop. You guys who can play third, you can play second. So, which to me is the reason why they have a couple of stopgap guys there. And it's just the way I look at it too. But you guys let me know what you think. Any other moves that pop out, particularly in the Yankees, or any other free agent moves, you guys are going to know here. Talk to you later.